revenue administration, this trust is built on not mere legal authority, but professional conduct. That is the way you handle your job professionally, the way you interact with them as individual, and the way you present whatever idea you have. So tax officials operate at a very sensitive interface or intersection between government and the public. So here, your job is more of being professional in the way you handle your assignment. And that will bring about the trust that will enable them to be ready to listen and do your behavior. The introduction continues. So what is professionalism? What does it entail? The first thing is competence. You must be on top of your game. As a tax officer, you must know your onions. There are some questions that we ask you. You don't need to go back and look for answer. Then you must be able to educate them in such a way that there will be no any form of ambiguity. Because when conversation or communication or interaction is not clear, that can generate disagreement, conflict that will make the purpose of that communication unachievable. Integrity. Integrity has to do with who you are when nobody is watching. We can easily claim to be someone, but who we are indeed reflect most time when we are not in the public face. So integrity matters in the way and manner we do our work. Then accountability, that is owning your action. Taking responsibility for your action, that is being accountable. And respect, then service orientation. The purpose of public organization is to render service. So you must see yourself in that capacity at every point in time. On the other way around, the ethical conduct refers to adherence to moral principle. What do we mean by moral principle? Moral principles are, do I call them moral standard or principle? Yes. That is things that is acceptable, behavior, character, disposition that is acceptable, that is not something that somebody became uninterested in. So you must be able to demonstrate acceptable behavior. That is part of what ethical conduct is. Then rules and regulation, understanding what the rule says. When you are working without understanding the rule, you will run foul of the rules. And regulation. Regulation comes in terms of like providing oversight functions. That is because within the organization, if it's State Internal Revenue Service, you have rules that guide you what you do. Then beyond the Internal Revenue Service, there are regulations that control the activities of the State Internal Revenue Service. So you must understand all these. There's standards that guide behavior even when no one is watching. So ethical conduct is behaving responsibly as an individual. So for the Internal Revenue Service, professionalism and ethical conduct will, number one, enhance voluntary tax compliance. When you do your work ethically and professionally, that will enhance the compliance of the general public about paying taxes, because there is no element of ambiguity, there's no element of mistrust or doubt. Number two, reduce conflict with taxpayer. That is, your ability to manage yourself, do what is expected of you, will bring about minimum. I'm not going to tell you that there will be no time when there will be no conflict. There will be. Because no matter how much you try, some people will still not agree. But it will reduce conflict to barest minimum. Then number three, improve professional reputation. Don't forget you are representing an organization. So the way you carry out your activities, your official assignment out there, can have impact on your organization. Then number four, support government developmental goals. Don't forget, whatever activities that bring about more revenue will bring about development in government activities. Then lastly, protect officer from misconduct allegation. When you do your job professionally, there will be less, even minimal report of misconduct allegation. So this presentation is comprises of three major parts. The first one is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence helps you to manage yourself and others better. Number two, effective communication and presentation skill. That is how you communicate, how you relate with the public. That one is very important. Then number three, interpersonal relationship. So this is the three major areas we are discussing in this presentation. So let's start. Emotional intelligence. I don't have enough time, but I will still want to make it as interactive as possible. Can somebody tell us what emotional intelligence is in your own language? A volunteer. In your own language, what is emotional intelligence? No wrong answer. Yes, again.
In my own understanding,
yes, in your own English, sir.
Emotional intelligence is able to have a ready-made answer to every question given to you from your area or field or specialization.
Thank you for that contribution. Let's celebrate her, please. Yes. When she's a ready-made answer, I agree. For somebody who understands himself or herself, that will help you to regulate your response. True or false? So I love that contribution. Thank you very much. Let me move on because of time. I draw my summary of this concept from a book written by Daniel Coleman. It came up with the concept of emotional intelligence in 1985. No, there are some other works before this work, but it was the one this one became prominent in 1995 when he began to discuss the concept of emotional intelligence. And this topic took him around the world because it came at a very critical point when leaders understand the importance of emotional intelligence and how it helps them to succeed. So emotional intelligence refers to the ability, individual's ability, your ability, my ability, to number one, recognize, understand, and manage emotions effectively. Don't forget, emotion runs in our system every moment. So as an individual, you must number one, recognize, understand, and thirdly, manage your emotion effectively. So Daniel Coleman came up with the concept of these 5 key components of emotional intelligence. And I will quickly explain them. Number one, self-awareness. Man, know thyself. The best thing you can do for yourself is to understand who you are. And an operator said the greatest adventure is a journey into self-discovery. Know yourself. If you don't know yourself, you misbehave. Misbehavior is not far from you when you don't understand the way you are made up, your personality makeup. Knowing yourself helps you to know your temperament, your ability to handle issues, your strengths and weaknesses alike. Because every human being is a component of both. So, knowing yourself is number one, self-awareness. Be aware of who you are. What are your personality traits? What are your character traits? Number two, self-regulation. So based on the knowledge you have under self-awareness, you are able to manage yourself. If you are the type that easily gets angry, then that calls for attention that at every point where the tendency for you to get easily angry, then you begin to manage yourself. You come up with mechanisms that can help you to manage or suppress feeling that can relate or result in anger. That's self-regulation. If you are the type that you nonsense into me, there are some people like that. They don't even entertain any form of what they can call disrespect or not enough respect from anybody, and they react. As a public servant, that is not expected of us, because you are going to meet different type of people out there. How about to regulate emotions? We are going to have altercation with these people. Number three, motivation. Motivation is something you can do for yourself. Most of the time, we expect motivation. And most of the time, when we expect that, we don't get it. Because the person from whom you are expecting motivation may not even have that thought. So you must be a self-motivated individual. Because when we are well-motivated, our reaction or responses are better. So you must learn self-motivation. You must understand that sometimes that motivation may not come from where, maybe from your boss, from your director, head of department. You may not get it from them. But when you understand how to be self-motivated, then it helps you to relate with others very well. Then number four, empathy. Empathy is when you put yourself in other people's shoes. Sherry, I said something yesterday. Some of the people you are going to meet out there, a lot of them are going through a lot. And in their efforts to make ends meet, you are still coming to them, which is expected. You are doing your job. But how you relate with them matters. I mentioned discretionary performances yesterday. There are some things that are not written in the law book. That is where you use your discretion to analyze issues and probably apply wisdom. Discretion, not performances. Then lastly, social skill. Social skill is your ability to relate with your environment. Understand the social activities and events that help you to manage your surroundings, the interaction with people very well. So what thinking about? Please, in public service, emotional intelligence determines how an officer responds under pressure, handle conflict, and exercise authority responsibly. So from today, I want to begin to think, how do I exercise authority? How do I manage conflict? And how do I manage myself under pressure? Because pressure will come. There will be need for you to meet up with targets. There will be need for you to make sure you fulfill conditions that relate to your assignment. And there are other responsibilities at home, as individual. All of us are one. If you are not married, you have relationship, you have family that also depend. So there are pressures from different corners. But how do you, despite all this pressure, how do you manage to do your work effectively? So benefit of emotional intelligence at work, it improves professionalism. When you understand those 5 components of emotional intelligence, it improves how you do your job. Your dealings with your colleagues, with taxpayer, and even your family at home. I read a paper that leaders who are high in emotional intelligence are always performing exceptionally as leaders. So you begin to see yourself as a leader. Not until you occupy the position of the executive chairman, the director, before you are a leader. At every level you find yourself, you have the responsibility of leadership. Just that most of the time we don't accept. Number 2, reduce conflict and complaint. So when you operate with emotional intelligence, it reduces complaint from the taxpayer. At the same time, even among your colleagues. Yesterday, in the course of the interaction, somebody dropped a question. And unfortunately, I couldn't respond to that question in the course of the session. But thank God, the person later came to me. And what is the question? Particularly when you go out as a team, you are the head of that team. You are the most senior, maybe out among 3 or 4 people. And you believe that it's only your idea that can solve problem out there. It's not true. You don't know it all. Sometimes suggestion from a younger or junior officer can help you better. But I now told the guy, I said, if you fall under such a senior colleague who doesn't take advice or suggestion, it is not in the moment of that situation that you try to challenge or try to make him understand. Look for the right avenue when he or she is calm. Engage him, sir. Something happened out there today, and this is what I think about it. I'm not trying to correct you. I know you are the boss, you understand everything. But this is just the way I see it. Maybe sometimes you don't mind, or maybe some other time, we can use this method or this idea instead of, if you don't mind, sir, it's just a suggestion. There's a way you respectfully, politely suggest to your senior about your own idea. Not because the moment you are trying to push it to him in the public, it becomes a subordination. That's what we call it in the civil service. It's like you are disregarding his authority, his seniority over you. But look for the right time. And I want to beg, if you are in the senior capacity, please also allow people working with you to shape in their idea, even your messengers. There are times that they can help you with ideas that can make your job easier than when you are trying to do it all alone, because nobody knows it all. Better public perception. How do public perceive IRM? If you do your job with professionalism and ethics, perception of people about your organization will be better. Then strong teamwork. Wait. Hope we are safe. So the public perception about your organization will be better. They will say good things because You are the one representing them. The chairman himself will not go and meet individuals. You are the one meeting these people. And the way you relate with them, the way you handle them, will determine what they will be saying concerning your organization and the ethical decision making. And that is the purpose of the group work we're supposed to do. Because you are going to make decisions at some levels. And if you are not ethically sound, your decision will be poor. Even when you are when you think what you are doing is right. So what happens when you operate under low emotional intelligence? Number one, aggression towards that prayer. If you become aggressive, that means you are not operating with high emotional intelligence. And I said something, you have to separate yourself from your official assignment. Most of the time, it is our own intention that we operate with when we go out there. No. Try and follow what the rule says. Separate yourself from that assignment you are carrying. Even when you hate somebody, even when you don't like somebody's face, put your personal interest away. Handle the matter the way it should be handled. Then abuse of authority. That's where people try to operate, let them know I'm in charge. Yes, you are in charge, of course. But don't forget that where your power ends, another person's power starts. So let us behave responsibly when we go out there, when we are dealing with these people, because this time is a very critical time in your assignment. It's as if this law, tax law, were not there before. They were there. In fact, we were made to understand that it's even better now for people that are handless than then. But they don't know. You are the one saying it, but they don't, because the perception of people based on what they are seeing online, what people are telling them, even we go to understand them. Of what they are hearing is what they also prepare. So they are waiting for you. They are waiting for you. You are the one that will not go with the same mindset. Going with the mindset of educating them, enlightening them, and also be empathizing with them. There are ways you can make them pay voluntarily than when you are trying to coerce them. Then unethical shortcuts, when you are trying to now cut here and there to meet, particularly when we are already good. There are times that we are good at work. We do things that the way we shouldn't have done it, that can boomerang and cause a kind of reputational damage to organization, even ourselves. Then begin to see how we can beat. Then poor judgment under stress and lack of cooperation. But when you operate under emotional intelligence, what happens? Patient and restraint. You are patient with taxpayer. I believe there is an allowance, like we discussed here today, that a taxpayer has between when if he or she refuses to pay, before you can now enforce the full penalty on them. Then ethical decision making. So it helps your decision making, particularly when you find yourself in ethical dilemma cases. Ethical dilemma cases is when you have to choose between to do the right thing or the wrong thing, particularly when your interest is at stake. And that's why I beg you, please separate your interest from your official assignment. It's like you are like a judge in the law court. You should do your job holistically, but with human faith. Respect for colleagues and citizens, professional handling of dispute, then team spirit and cooperation. These are the benefits and the result of when we work under professionalism and ethical conduct. So for the EKRS staff, I just brought up two case scenarios there. A taxpayer reacts angrily to a tax assessment. What do? Do you treat, intimidate, or shout? Or you calmly explain, empathize, and clarify the legal basis? The option 2 is the best. When you use option 1, you have lost your relevance as individual, because your relevance, your authority you have before a taxpayer is when you are yet to exercise your power. The moment you exercise your power, you have lost it. At the point, okay, I go along. I mean, you always get to that level. But before you arrive there, you can still find out the better way to undo the matter. The second one is pressure to meet revenue targets, using coercion and ethical demand, or lawful persuasion, education, and compliance support. There are ways you can help your client. Even when you demand for less, and they might keep a city from buyer 600 naira, and buyer 100 naira every day. There are ways you talk to them. Some of them are reasonable, of course. Some of them. Why many or some are not so reasonable? But you are going to meet with both groups. But emotional intelligence will help you to manage them effectively. Practical emotional intelligence habit for daily practice. It's a daily thing. It's not something you do today and wait the next week. If you can practice this daily, reflect before responding. Most of the time, we listen to react, not to respond. There's a difference between response and reaction. Reaction is based on what the person said or do, but response is based on who you are and what you should do. There's a difference between reaction and response. So it's better to respond than to react. Reaction triggers negative emotions, but response helps you to act responsibly and professionally. Number two, listen more than you speak. Listen more than you speak. It's not just about talking. Because when you listen with intent to respond, you understand the basis of the conflict even before it happens. Number three, manage stress proactively. Many of us, there are other things we do aside this job. If you know you are under stress, manage your stress. Find a way around how you can manage what stresses you. Could be family issue, could be personal issue, could be academic. Maybe you're running an academic program with your job. You may be under intense stress sometimes. You must learn to manage stress. When you manage stress effectively, proactively, it will affect your line of duty when you get to work. Then apologize when wrong. Apology when wrong is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. When you see people, even despite the fact that they know they are wrong and they still keep that high shoulder, it means they are not strong. They are weak people. But when you see people apologize, even to somebody, maybe to subordinate, to your client, maybe there's a misinformation or anything, apologize. Let them know, there was a misinformation. I'm sorry about that, but this is what we should be. Then treat every interaction as a representation of the organization. Yesterday I asked, what are your core values in EKIRS? Maybe, no, not chorus answer. Volunteer to say one. What? Integrity, yes. Mutual respect. Professionalism. Fear. Accountability. Teamwork. So anytime you are out there, remember these core values. Let them guide you in your disposition, your conduct, in your relationship with people. If you can follow these core values, you won't have problem. Do you agree? Thank you. The core values were not just designed for the fun of it. They are designed to guide every member of this organization so that when you are relating, interacting, and dealing with people, let it reflect. Even with other colleagues, let it reflect. So these are the four areas of emotional intelligence and how it works. I'll just run through, I will read them so that I won't spend much time on it. Self-control and emotional regulation. What does it mean? The ability to delay immediate emotional response and choose a thoughtful, professional reaction. Why it matters: prevent impulse decision, reduce workplace conflict, then protect professional image. So, practical work example: a taxpayer speaks harshly or accuse an officer of an unfair treatment. An emotional intelligence officer pause, breathes, listens, and responds calmly rather than reacting defensively. So what can you do? Count to 5 seconds before you respond. Don't cut the person speaking. The moment you cut the person speaking, you are going to react wrongly. Listen, let them finish what they are saying. Then after, calm down and respond. Take a slow deep breath, then ask clarifying questions instead of reacting. Most of the time, people behave wrongly because they don't have the right knowledge. When everybody, if we're all on the same page, we won't have disagreement. So disagreement sometimes as a result of we not having the same knowledge, the same idea about the same concept. Then, so this is a question for you to reflect on. How do I usually respond when I feel provoked or disrespected at work? You are the one that will answer that question. How do you react? You know your interaction with people, your interface with taxpayers. Most of the time when your expectations are not met, how do you react? Think about that. 2, self-awareness. What does it mean? Understanding specific situation, words, and behavior that provoke strong emotional reaction. What are the things that provoke you? Know it yourself. Common workplace trigger: disrespect or passive insult. Most of the time when you perceive that you are insulted or you are not well respected, that could trigger a negative reaction. Number 2, work overload. Maybe when you are giving more than what you should do, or begin to grumble. It's normal. That could also be a trigger. Number 3, delay or bureaucracy. Maybe we're always in a hurry. That is what happens to this generation we are. We are not patient enough. So we want something done quickly. Maybe the delay is causing some, you have your own plan, you have your own program, and something is not forthcoming as it should be. So why it matters? Recognized trigger leads to anger outburst. Number 2, passive aggression, then poor judgment. Then number 4, emotional imbalance. So what do we do? Practical workplace. An officer realized that being questioned in public meetings triggered defensiveness. With awareness, the officer prepare emotionally and respond professionally. So what do? The 2, the trigger mapping. What happened? Ask yourself, what exactly happens? What did I feel? How do you react to what happened? Then thirdly, why did it affect me? Could it be because of your personal interest or because you think you deserve more than what you got? Or how should I respond next time? That keeps you in check because of repetition of the same situation. So reflection question. What situation at work triggered my strongest emotional reaction? Maybe with your colleagues or with taxpayer. Think about it and answer. We don't have enough time, so I won't dwell more on some of these things. Then professional objectivity. This one is very important. Separate personal feeling from official duty. I've mentioned it like 4 times today. Please don't carry your personal opinion, decisions into your work. It will affect you. Even when you have to use disciplinary performances, how do you ensure that your disciplinary performance does not reflect your personal decision or intention? It's all about, do I have anything to gain from it? No. Is it fair enough? Yes. Then you can set such discretionary performances. So why it matters or what it means. Maintain professionalism regardless of personal mood, private challenge, or personal opinion is what it means. And I beg you, whatever you go through in your personal life, don't bring it to work. That's why most people behave unprofessionally sometimes. We can't stop from having personal issues. They will surely keep coming. But our ability to understand ourselves and manage them effectively will save us from unethical and unprofessional conduct in the workplace. To ensure fairness and integrity, prevent abuse of authority, build public trust. So practical workplace example, an officer expresses personal stress at home. He treats taxpayer with courtesy, respect, patience, and impartiality rather than transferring frustration to the client. So don't transfer aggression to people you are having interaction with, maybe in the workplace or your colleague, because transferring such aggression becomes an unethical conduct or unprofessionalism. So best practice, leave personal issue outside the office. Follow standard procedure consistently and seek support instead of venting on clients. Don't vent on clients. Even sometimes, like I said, some of them have their problem they are going through. But we can be empathized. We can guide them, advise them on better way to do it. Some people, if they have better knowledge, they will do better. But lack of knowledge, Bible says, make people perish. Many people are in the situation they are today simply because they lack right knowledge that would have helped them to do better. So where am I? Now, let me ask a question. Do my personal challenge ever affect how I treat colleagues or the public? Yes or no? Yes or no? There are yes and there are no. Let us be sincere. But going forward, let us ensure that it does not in any way come closer to our official responsibility. Part 4, social awareness and relationship management. That is you and your environment. What it means, the ability to understand others' perspective, emotions, and constraints without compromising rules and standards. We're not asking you to not follow the rules. There are rules guiding your job. But in the dispatch or the demonstration of your functions as tax officer, even when you are still trying to enforce the rule, make sure you do it with human face. That will put you in good light. So why does it matter? It reduces hostility so that taxpayer will not just necessarily be hostile towards you. Because all the time they think you are their enemy. Abi? But I don't know, I'm sorry, it's state government that you are representing, but you are the one having interaction with them. So they see you as the enemy. They see you as the one that want to come and take the money that is not sufficient for them. So in order to reduce hostility, when you become aware of the environment and other factors, it helps you to reduce the level of hostility they have towards you. Improve compliance and cooperation. I explained the other time, the way you relate with them will determine if they will comply or not. Sometimes we can compel them with wisdom to do what we want them to do, and they will do. Then, strengthen teamwork. So practical workplace example, a taxpayer struggling to meet obligation is treated with respect and clear guidance rather than ridicule or harshness while still enforcing the law. You see now, there are people who have a lot of responsibility out there. Even the sales they are making, it's not sufficient to take care of their problem. But at the same time, you will still have to collect taxes from them. So how do you do it? Wisdom is required. Patience is required. And that is where professionalism and ethical conduct is also involved. So, listen actively, use respectful language, acknowledge concerns before responding. Let them know you feel what they are going through. There's a way you persuade their ego, you rub their ego, you massage their ego, and they'll be willing to pay. I was telling somebody this early this year that I am glad I'm going to pay more taxes this year than previous years. I'm looking forward to pay more. Because in the past, maybe the level of enforcement and knowledge, because there was not, since I grew, there has never been time when tax issue has been this extensively become a public debate than now. So that also exposed me to further knowledge about it. And I was so glad that, okay, it is good, but my concern is, hope they will use this money judiciously. And we are trusting that God will help them to do so. So, empathy is not weakness. The fact that you empathize does not mean you are weak. It doesn't mean you are compromising standard. At the same time, it does not mean you are ignoring the rules. You are only putting human face to ensure that people who probably might be having different situations are also well taken care of according to your core values. Care. Show care for them. Despite the fact that you want them to pay the tax. So reflection question, how can I show understanding while still enforcing rules and regulations? That is in your disposition, your body language, your patience, and the rest of them. So discussion question, we don't have time. I think I have about 30 minutes left to round up. And I just take care of 1 out of 3. So how do emotional influence ethical decision-making in tax administration? We're supposed to discuss some of these things. I've also factored them in the group assignment, but let's take it. The key takeaway, a professional who controls the emotional control situation. When you control your emotion, you are in charge. You control yourself, you control the other person, and you control the situation along at the same time. A leader who understands the emotion builds trust. And don't forget, you derive your authority from public trust. And thirdly, an organization that values emotional intelligence and respect. You can handle respect of the public the way and manner you carry out your work. Now, let me go to part 2. The principle of effective communication and presentation skills. Communication is not just what you say. How you say it matters. When you say it also matters. So it is important for us to understand that we are dealing with the public who need better understanding of what is happening. And how you present what is happening to them will determine how they are going to accept it from you. So let's move. Communication as a tool of professionalism. Communication is not just speaking. It is understanding and being understood. So how do you make your client, the taxpayer, the general public understand the idea, the importance of paying taxes, and how paying taxes can also help them to be a responsible citizen and the rest? In EKRS, communication shapes, number 1, taxpayer perception, what they think, how they are understanding. Number 2, compliance behavior. The way you communicate also help them to understand, to help them to have the right knowledge and comply with what is expected. And number 3, conflict resolution. There will be conflict out there. You can't escape it. But how you communicate, how you respond, how you engage them can also reduce some of these conflicts or help you to resolve them in case they happen. Then, the institutional image, the image of EKRS as an organization. Your communication can shape those things in the mind of people. Note, poor communication often escalates disputes and breeds mistrust. So when you are not communicating effectively, it can bring about mistrust, and a lot of doubt will exist. And when there is a doubt and mistrust, you can't get the results you're expecting from them. So principles of effective communication. it must be clear. Make sure you speak. You come to the language they understand. Make the idea clear to them, what is expected of them, what they expected to pay. Yesterday, we were talking about, I listened to the panel section held before my, and they're discussing that, okay, when you get there, even some of them may not even hand up to the level where they will have to pay any tax, but they will pay levies. Let them understand that, okay, tell about an extra tax. And we'll wait job what because if you tell them, okay, you're not going to pay taxes, and the local government official got there, they want to collect their levies, and there's already a misinformation. Then accurate, say it the way, don't add to it. There are stations where we had our own opinion, or we interpret the law based on what we think it should be. Don't do that. Interpret according to what the rule says, not what you think it should be. Number 3, respectful. They deserve our respect. Even go jomode, go ma jagbalagba. Àwa la fẹ́ gbowó lọ́wọ́ wọn àbí. Respect wọn. Massage ego wọn. In fact, I loved somebody yesterday when he was explaining that waki wọn, ṣáájú wọn gbá kíní kan wọn lọ wọn á tún padà wá. Wọn lóhùn tó bá padà wá, òun máa jáde. There's a way you relate with them and they'll be willing to pay. Respectfully, then timeliness, then audience appropriate. Based on your audience, you can't treat everybody the same way. Somebody sits in air-conditioned office working, and when you go to somebody who's under the sun, there's a way you look at their situation. Emotional intelligence helps you to understand people's situation even without speaking. And that will help you to administer appropriate conversation with them. The other one, what are the key elements? Active listening. If you don't listen effectively, you can't communicate effectively. Because what you perceive or what you hear determine what you say. So effective listening helps effective communication. Number 2, appropriate tone. Matter. Let's talk to them with tone that shows care, that shows integrity, that shows professionalism, that shows teamwork. All the things that we represent as members of EKRN, let it reflect in the tone you use for them. Simple language, no verbal cues, your body language. Body language, so let your body language also show care. Even by me, you may even have intention to buy it as well for the fact that that person is selling. You can even choose to buy from that taxpayer as a way of motivating the person to pay. So these are some of the communication that will come from you. Tax education session. You will have reason to educate the client, the public about tax payment. Compliance notice. How do you communicate it? Is it forcefully? Is it responsibly? Number 3, internal report. You are going to give report at one time or the other. Make sure your report is well written and well delivered. The chairman yesterday mentioned of somebody who wrote a letter for him and there was some misinformation. So please let us be careful, even within and without, when we are communicating, either verbally or written form. Stakeholder briefing, you may have written. In fact, Mr. Governor can just send somebody to join me on a program from EKRS to do stakeholder briefing. How prepared are you? You must be able to effectively communicate your responsibility, your assignment. The chairman said when he went to see the head of service yesterday, well, he mentioned yesterday, and so his intention was to go and invite her. But issue came up, and he said, when he was asking those questions, so he should not say, let me call one of my technical officers to come and respond. It means he doesn't know what he's doing. And you can't give what you don't have. Please keep yourself abreast. Study, understand the new tax reform law to make sure that you don't misrepresent this organization at every point in time. Then public relation management, how you relate with publics also matter. So effective presentation require clear structure, confidence, logical flow, then evidence-based explanation. Make sure these are involved in your communication. Then unethical communication includes misrepresentation of tax law. Don't misrepresent the law. And the problem is You may not even intend to misrepresent it. If you don't understand it, you're weak. So understanding it matters. Please study it. Beyond this training, I know a lot have been discussed about it. On your own, do you even have a copy of the law? Please get a copy. Study it. Become a custodian of that law. That helps your job. And it will save you from a lot of misrepresentation. Threatening language, please don't. Don't threaten anybody. I do tell people, know where your responsibilities stop. Abi, there are law enforcement department, Abi. If you are not in that department, don't do their work. Because I can create enmity for like when you are trying to enforce when you are not supposed to. Do whatever you need to do. Leave other part to other people who are in charge. Because overzealousness, that can cause problem for you. We have seen people put themselves in unnecessary problems because they have passed their boundaries. So work within your limit. Don't go beyond wherever. Don't threaten anybody. Iṣẹ́ ìjọba là ń ṣe òkò ń ṣiṣẹ́ ara wa o. A gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe bí iṣẹ́ ara wa ṣùgbọ́n a gbọ́dọ̀ mọ ibi tá a ti máa separate personal interest from public assignment. Withholding information, then deliberate ambiguity. Don't keep anything from anybody. Even if this person, you don't like the person, still do your job professionally. So ethical communication promotes empathy, transparency, accountability, voluntary compliance, and productivity. I'm trying to rush because of time. So a good example, explaining penalty clearly instead of using fear. Don't use fear. Don't intimidate. When you intimidate taxpayer, you don't help them. You are creating unnecessary panic. And that informs their perception of who you are and your organization. So use gentle language, then educate SME on tax obligation rather than intimidating them. Don't intimidate anybody. And lastly, using respectful language during enforcement visits. There's a way you can still respect somebody and still carry out your job. All these things are possible. So discussion, how does communication style influence taxpayer compliance? If your voice is raised, if it's full of intimidation and threatening, you are not helping the matter. But when you are patient and respectful in your approach, you can get better results. So, what communication habit damage your public image? Don't forget, there are some of them. I wish we can discuss them, but there's no time. So that's why I just have to jump. I'm trying to keep to time. There are some habits that can damage the reputation of the organization. And you are the one that will either make it happen or not. Please don't make it happen. Then thirdly, how can officer balance firmness with courtesy? Yes, we ask to be respectful, but at the same time, you have to be professional. You have to carry out your job. How do you balance it? You must be able to find a balance between the two. The third part, which is interpersonal relationship as catalyst for ethical excellence. So, what is interpersonal relationship in the workplace? It simply means how you relate with colleagues, supervisor, subordinate, and the public. So, the people above you, the people at your level, the people below you, and the people out there. How do you relate with them professionally? That is interpersonal relationship in the workplace. You must learn to relate. Because if your relationship is not balanced, it will affect the result you are expected to get. So healthy relationship foster teamwork, accountability, mutual respect, and ethical culture and productivity. Why unhealthy relationship breeds favoritism, conflict, corruption, low morale, lack of cooperation, and poor working relationship. So ethical risks often arise from number one, over familiarity with clients. Please, as much as you are to be friendly, don't be over familiar with them. The moment you become over familiar with them, it will affect the result you should get. Even when you're supposed to enforce a particular rule, that over familiarity will affect it. For instance, if a tax collector is buying on credit from a taxpayer, and you still want that person to pay tax, you can only there. Even go only sọ̀rọ̀ tó bá ń kọjá gan wàá gbójú ni o ní fẹ́ gbàbẹ̀ torí o jẹ́ lówó. Ṣé mo parọ́? It's just an example anyway, but there are other circumstances that can lead to over familiarity. When you get there, manage your conversation. I went to the hospital to see a friend in 2024 December. On getting there, when I met the way the patient and the doctor were relating, it was disgusting to me. It is good you can be friendly, but there should be a level. And Shortly after that, some things later came up, and I said that the first day I met them in that kind of conversation, I was displeased. It was disgusting. Because there are some things you should not happen or should not talk about with clients. Private life. As much as you have your own problem, find the right people to discuss your problem with. Because there are some things that take away the kind of respect you should have. There's some kind of thing that can take those respect away, particularly when you are discussing with the wrong person. So know who to discuss with and what to discuss with taxpayer, with client out there. Not everything you talk about. Then, undue influence from friends or relatives. You are going to meet with people you know. Abi? So how do you relate? How do you deal with them? Despite the fact that they're your friends. There was a time somebody called me, thinking about buying your console. Under the private management here. And I called the person then, anyway, Mr. Emiloju. You go to Shelley, me only tiju issue, me only shall I tiju issue, but okay, only reduce, only just do whatever you can. Yes, there are situations where we are going to meet with people you know, but make sure that whatever you are doing, do not go beyond where you have the power to use your discretionary ability so that you don't compromise standard. Because when you compromise standard, if the issue is brought up and you have come and defend it, don't put yourself in trouble because you want to favor somebody. Please don't. Because at the end of the day, you will displease yourself. And you go, then the more extent what you have go through to save her or to help her. Then compromise professional boundaries. Please know your boundaries. Talk about it extensively. Then professional relationship must be respectful but impartial. If there are 10 people who are selling the same thing, the moment, because they will talk when you go. Don't try to favor somebody. So that a man favor because any problem. So let us be impartial when we are trying to be respectful and then friendly but objective. Be objective in your dealings. And lastly, cooperative but ethical. Be ethical in your conduct. It will save you from a lot of stress that can happen. Because what's supposed to happen is that when you finish your work, you should go home and sleep sound without having any thought of what might go wrong with what you did during the day. Interpersonal skill that support ethical excellence. Number one, respect for hierarchy and roles. Please, let's respect, let's have it. I was telling the guy who asked me that question yesterday. No matter how brilliant you think your ideas are, make sure you find the best way to present it. Don't disrespect your senior simply because you think you have better ideas. Because if you do, it will come back to you. 2, constructive conflict management. The way we manage conflict, even among ourselves as colleagues and the taxpayer, is very important. The constructive. We can be professional, but the moment do a report. Report officially so that you can save yourself from the problem. Because there are a lot of things you're supposed to have learned in the cases, but maybe they'll find a way because I developed another 8 cases from the one you did yesterday. And these are some of the real situations you find yourself, whether you like it or not. Then, fair treatment of colleagues and taxpayers. Let there be fair treatment, and lastly, refusal of undue favor. We also discussed it in the group session yesterday. Somebody dropped an envelope. What is it? There are rules guiding some of these things. How do you take appreciation from people? Please be careful. Some of them, they have ulterior motive for that favor or the appreciation they are doing. It could be because of some things they have in pipeline. And the moment you have taken it and you pocket it alone, somebody walk by the day, did you follow rules? How difficult? Because you have taken something that keep your mouth shut. So let us be careful on due favor from the public. Some of them have ulterior motive. I teach a lot of strategic relationship. And one of the principles of strategic relationship is you don't wait until you need somebody's help before you cultivate the relationship. So that means somebody can become your friend simply because of the fact that he or she is going to need your favor in future. And when you become friends with that person and you have enjoyed some relationship benefits, now to be strict or do what you should do will be very difficult. I pray God will help us. When I became admin officer, I was asked a question at the Civil Service Commission. The chairman said, Mr. Emiloju, you have become an admin officer, and by privilege, you become the permanent secretary in the service. And you run an NGO. Somebody, maybe a chief, has sponsored your NGO program at one time or the other with millions of naira. And that same chief now comes, and there's a contract on your table. And that same person who has supported your NGO now needs your favor. What will you do? That was the technical question they asked for. Because in the course of introducing myself, I told them I run NGO, these are the things I do. So then I was like, okay, what will you do? Quickly, I let them know that the NGO is a legal entity. It's different from me. And whoever that supports the NGO program is doing it based on trust. And that's why it is called incorporated trustee. Me, I'm just helping to manage the resources of the NGO. It is not my program. It is not my NGO. I'm just a trustee. So I was able to separate myself from the NGO because the moment I align myself with it, there's no way I can defend myself. So if anybody comes tomorrow, and that is why as incorporated trustee, you must have record of all your programs, every money that comes in, how you spend it. Because a sponsor that gives you maybe 1,000 yesterday, when you say you want to organize the program, can ask, okay, how do you spend the money? And you are accountable to give report. So I was able to explain, and well, like they agree with me. So let us try and understand. Sometimes when favor is becoming undue favor. We're rounding up gradually. EKRS contextual example, declining gift or inducement from taxpayer politely. This one is very important. You can reject it politely, but only when you know that this has something behind it. 2, treating all taxpayers equally regardless of status. You're going to meet people who are connected and people who are not connected. Make sure you treat them equally. 3, managing internal disagreements professionally. There are times you are going to have issue with all your other colleagues. How do you manage it? It's also very important. So building an ethical relationship culture, clear ethical conduct. You have your rule books. Make sure you understand the rule book. It will help you professionally. Number 2, let's pay attention, please. I'm rounding up in about 5 minutes. Let's pay attention, please. The food is not making noise. 2, peer accountability, particularly for the head of department or leader of team. Make sure you peer people where their personality can complement. If there's somebody who is aggressive, make sure you bring somebody who is calm to complement that person. It will help them to checkmate themselves and help themselves. Then leadership by example. Thank God we have leader in this organization who is worthy of emulation. The testimony I've heard about the chairman since yesterday and today made me proud of him as an individual. Let's celebrate him, please. Pray for more grace for you. So he has led with example. Let us follow his steps. Let us learn from him. When I was sitting there, something came to my mind. I said, who knows what assignment awaits him after he leaves here? Maybe he got federal appointment. The question is, the way you are doing your job today, can he request for you to work with him? That's a question for somebody. Think about it. The way I'm working today, if I'm privileged, or this chairman or somebody else is privileged to have a better appointment, who need a capable, responsible, and reliable officer to work with, can I be recommended? Can I be requested for? Please, let's work with that consciousness. So, open report channel, where staff can report cases, then continuous ethics and emotional intelligence training can further help. Then strong internal accountability mechanism. I thank God I listened to some of your rules guiding your conduct yesterday in the course of the panel session. And I realized that you have a lot of mechanism on ground to guide and to help you do the right thing. The most important thing is that, are you following them? Most of the time, we are the one who contravene some of these laid down rules and regulations. So let us work within the context of some of these laid down rules. So note, ethical organizations are not built by rules alone. It's not just by rules, but by relationship grounded in integrity. So discussion question, this is before the final conclusion. How can interpersonal relationship either strengthen or weaken ethical conduct? Please, the way you deal with other staffs, I've said it to please, let's not make noise. The food or the water will go around. So as I round up, we are beginning to think, how can entrepreneurship either strengthen or weaken ethical conduct? How you relate with your colleagues and taxpayer? How does it strengthen ethical conduct? There are so many things. Please think about it. Then too, where should officers draw line between friendliness and compromise? As much as you are to be friendly with people, taxpayer, know and unknown, where should you draw the line so that you don't compromise the standard you have to protect? Then lastly, how can AKRS staff hold one another accountable ethically? That is where you must give in for interaction among yourself. Allow feedback with your colleagues. Let them tell you the truth. Let me tell you something. If you are the type that you grow thick skin about feedback, you will improve. So for you to get better, ask your colleague, what are your observations about my performance? What are the areas where you think I can improve? I listened to a psychologist who was explaining yesterday that there's a level you grow to and you'll be able to grow again. But when you don't hear feedback or get somebody who assess your performance to help you pin or point out those areas where you need to work on yourself. So don't think you have gotten to a level where you know it all and nobody is better than you. When you get to that level, you can never go far. But when you get to a point where you realize that comment, opinion, feedback from your colleagues, from your senior and from your junior can help you to be better, then there will be improvement. Conclusion. Please let's pay attention. I have just 2 minutes to round up. Towards a culture of professional and ethical excellence. Professionalism and ethical conduct are not occasional acts. It's not something you do today and you do next week. It's something that must become part of your daily habits. And what do you do? Emotional intelligence, effective communication, and healthy interpersonal relationship form powerful ethical framework for public service. So for you, please listen. For you people, what does it do for you? Number one, it improves service delivery. When you do your work ethically and professionally, it improves service delivery. Number two, it strengthens public trust. The way public perceive you and relate with you will change based on your behavior out there. Number three, reduces ethical violation, because there are some things we do that are contrary to what we are sent to do. But when we act professionally and ethically, all these things will not happen. Then lastly, enhance personal and institutional credibility. You as individual and the organization you are representing, it will enhance your credibility and it will make people to respect you the more. Note, professionalism is what you do. Ethics is who you are. And let me explain what I mean by that statement. For being professional is about the way you do your job. But acting ethically is who you are. You must be able to balance these two to help you do your job better in year 2022. Dear listener, as I round up or draw the curtain of this presentation, I want to encourage you. Life is not that difficult. How we handle it determines the result we get. There are things you can do that will bring about positive results, and there are things you do that can bring opposite. But as you go out doing your job this year, be intentional to do it professionally and ethically, because it will affect the result you are going to get positively, unlike if you do it other way around. So I wish you success in the journey of this year. Thank you for listening to this. Thank you.
If you have questions for our facilitator, you can kindly raise up your hands. Are there questions? Okay, if there are no questions, then let's appreciate our facilitator again. Thank you so much, sir. All right, we will invite the executive chairman for his last part of his presentation. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to believe that you don't have questions. If you say you don't have a question, that means you were not following. I noticed some of you were hungry. That's why I said, okay, they could serve the food. But when the food was being served again, I saw so much noise. What was the trouble? Share my way, Bani. And I tell you sincerely, me, I'm with you always. That's what Jesus says. Oh, I'm with you always. I wouldn't want this gentleman to just go, because it's like he came with a trailer load of goods, but our container appeared a little small because of time constraint and what have you. And that's why I want you to still look at it very well. Are you sure there was an exercise we did yesterday which has to do with some ethical conflicts? Maybe we'll just take one or two of it, and then you can then, if that generates some discussion, some questions, we can do that one. And my own presentation, I'm not sure if you give me 2 hours, I'll be able to finish it. So I want us to just make the best use of him. And then by maybe another 15 minutes, I can then possibly take over 15, 20 minutes. Let's engage him more. And then I can continue. Wherever I stop, I stop. I'm with you always. Possibly we may have to organize another one that we'll have to do that will now dwell in very richly. Is that okay by us? So you are free to be taking your lunch, but if you have a question, please ask. Or you are okay with everything. If I ask some of you now, what is professionalism? What are you going to say? Because he said a lot of things. Should I give him the microphone to ask any of you some questions? Yes? Okay, Esther, can you summarize the things he said? Give her the microphone. One key thing that you have gained. Use the microphone.
His topic is based on emotional intelligence. And according to what he taught us, emotional intelligence has to do with our daily interaction, because we are tax collectors. Our daily interaction with our taxpayers, how we relate with them, how we talk to them, and our response to them. And he make the key points I want to lay emphasis on is we should listen before we talk, that we should listen to them, that we should let them finish whatever they want to say without cutting them short. Then that is when we should now respond. And it has to do with professionalism. Professionalism is what we do. Ethics is, I don't know if I'm correct. Ethics is who we are. But professionalism is what we do, but ethics is who we are. So that's what I want. Wait.
I work in so many organizations. I have seen so many things. Without emotional intelligence, I don't know how power. He has the thing in abundance. But if he has not learned it somehow and apply it in his personal life, he will not be where he is. You, a sitting governor, having all past governors supporting you, is unusual. So how are we going to apply it, number one, into our personal lives, number two, to EKRS? It needs not to be Esther, she has tried. Any other person? Okay, give it to Mrs. Sainde.
So generally, you spoke about emotional intelligence, getting to understand who you are, and also to be able to separate yourself from your responsibilities. Then he capped it up by saying professionalism is what we do, ethics is who we are. He talked more about empathy, that we should always empathize with whoever we are dealing with. Then he also talked about how we manage conflicts amongst ourselves, amongst our colleagues, as well as amongst our taxpayers. Then whilst he was speaking, it was like, it was reminiscing personal experiences, how I work daily. Because sometimes when you come to the office and then maybe you are not in the right state, you're not in your right mind, and then somebody comes with this to provoke you, how well do you manage that situation better, that you will not be able to, that you will be able to. Then there is this one thing that also clicked on my head, is that when you are dealing with your taxpayer, make sure that they leave you better than when they came in. So understanding who you are, understanding your emotions, and trying to fine-tune it in a better way makes you come out professional in everything you're doing. So that's it.
Let's clap for her. Did she get it? Huh? She got it. All right. Thank you so much. God bless you all. There's one of the things that is a scenario, the gratitude envelope. A tax officer has just concluded one-on-one consultation with a small business owner. The officer clarified outstanding liabilities and helped the taxpayer understand penalties and payment options. As the client is leaving, he discreetly hands the officer an envelope saying, "This is just appreciation for your time and help." The officer suspects the envelope contains cash. Ethical dilemma. Accepting may compromise integrity and public trust. 2, refusing may offend the taxpayer and damage cooperation. Key question: is gratitude different from bribe? What do tax laws and codes of conduct say? How should the officer respond professionally? There are options available, which is to just quietly accept the envelope the way some of you are doing. And unfortunately, sometimes we get to know. Or refuse politely and explain ethical obligations. Another option is to report the incident to a supervisor. Yes. Another one is to suggest lawful channels for appreciation. Which of these is the best option? Which? Chairman? Everyone, but it's so easier to follow. I will tell you a short story before I read the question in my hand. One man came, I was the CFO of an organization, sir. And the man came with a very big envelope and gave it to my team members. And they said, "Sir, our guy is not in. It is what he says that will determine what we do with this envelope." And when I came and I was informed, I told them to call him back and that we should joyfully hand over his envelope to him. And I handed it over to him. He said, "Mr. Latono, why?" I said, this is not Christmas. It's not beginning of a new year. If you are to be New Year, your Christmas gifts should be understandable. And then again, you are bringing cash. It's against our policy, sir. He said, "But you are not the one that gave me the contract. Just that your staff are work professionally. They called me when my check was ready. I said they were only doing their work." Long story cut short, he appeared a long time, but he took his money back. About a month or 2 months after, there was a disagreement. He said he had not received about 25 million, which we have paid him. And then we opened the books. We show him the evidence of transfer, the ones he collected in cash. And the man said, let me say what he said in Yoruba. Only beyan ṣe máa ń para ẹ̀ lélẹ́yìn o. Ó ní tán bá ní kó ń fi Ògún àbí Ṣàngó búra pé òun gbó yẹn. Ó lóun á fẹ́ fi gbogbo ẹ̀ búra pé òun ò gbà. Only now you have confronted me with evidences that you collected the money. If we had collected his cash he gave us earlier on, would it have been so easy for us to say, we have paid? Let's be careful. A cashier was always smiling when a particular customer came, and that customer would smile and say, thank you. You made my transaction so easy. I'll just take this. You will pick some of the money and put on it. Thank you, sir. I'm happy. God bless you, sir. A day came when that same customer, true story, came, gave his check. As usual, the cashier had run. Oh, chief, this is your money. He collected the money, gave her her own part, and left. Only for the same man to come about 2-3 weeks later and said, bank manager, what is happening here? Happening as up. My account was debited with about 5-6 million naira. I didn't give the instruction. Who paid the money? It was straight to that cashier that was always collecting something. Chief, you came Thursday of the previous week that you came and you said me, okay, for what? No, you came, you wrote a check. They bring that check. They brought the check. The check was not signed. But because she had been collecting, she didn't look at it well and said, sorry, I did not sign. It wasn't in the days of CCTV. The lady had to pay. So he couldn't get there. Be careful of the kind of gift you collect. And I know some of you collect, you chop mouth. Some will collect. At least, where is the bag? Mr. Adibola? Oh, okay. At least he still told me, say, Oga, somebody gave me this. Some of you, they collect and they chop them. If your supervisor does not know, the day of reckoning, when it comes, you will be on your own. It's unfortunately that we don't have time to take some of this, but I believe HR will still circulate it to those of us that are here today so that you answer them and it will guide you. So how do I handle if I have a colleague that doesn't follow the set rules and regulations and keeps frustrating my efforts? Though already escalated, but the role the person occupies seems very important. How do I stop being frustrated? That's the question. You may need to please help us with that one. Another question: how can someone handle a boss who is only entitled to his opinion alone? Even other colleagues have an idea or opinion. That means it's always Mr. Right. You know, you also need to know how to learn your boss. If you don't know, ask your directors how they manage me. Number 2, how can we handle a tough taxpayer who is not ready to listen, nor comply, but only ask what has governor done for them? This one is simple now. Ask the team that went to ask for tax from a particular man, and the man pull out gun on them.
Thank you very much. Let me quickly respond from the last one. If a taxpayer proves to be stubborn, ask him what the government has done. The person lives in Ekiti. Probably what the government has done may not be probably what he is expected or wants. Does not mean the government is not working. It's all obvious around Ekiti that the Ekiti state government is working. So it's only somebody who doesn't want to appreciate what the government is doing that will say government is not doing anything. May not be what you want, but it may satisfy other people. And then one day it will come to the time when you also appreciate those things the government is doing. Now, but if the person is proving stubborn, there is a level you get to that you have to follow the rule to letter. You can still compel the patient, advise, but if the person, no matter what you do, they will still not change. So that situation, if you need to file a report the way you should, file it. Let the appropriate department or agency handle it. Because late, but go to the level here, explore every possible avenue to get the person comply without using force. But no matter what you do, force about handling a colleague, either senior or even contemporary or junior, who always believes your own opinion is superior. I mentioned it yesterday. For as long as it's a superior, there is little you can do that will not result in a subordination. Because you can't, no matter how good your idea is, you will wait till when you have the right to exercise it the way you want. That's the way we are trained. You don't challenge your senior colleagues. You don't challenge them. But there's a way you can engage them so that it won't look as if you are disrespecting them. It will look, so not at the point when the issue is happening, but yeah, a lot of taxpayer, opinion, better. You don't interject him. Try to push your opinion forward because you're already disrespecting him by doing that in the public. And they will feel bad about it. Even humility to them mature, but person who really want to exercise his or her position as a senior will not take it. Accept that suggestion. But if you now realize that you are working with such an individual, the best time to discuss is not when you are at the point of duty. Find the right avenue to engage the person. Okay, I work in the civil service. I'm a human capital development consultant by profession. There are times I suggest free training for government. I was once a director of capacity development and training in Ekiti State. And I was able to use my expertise to organize training, free training and the rest. But I got to another office where I work under a boss. Even I proposed free training, he said it cannot work. They force that on me because my decision is subject to his approval. So I have to wait. And shortly it was posted. Somebody else came, I proposed, the person accepted. So there are times that your senior or your superior may not accept your advice or suggestion, no matter how good they are, simply because some people, what they cannot do, whoever that wants to do it, they won't allow it to flow. So understand that will happen. But if it's somebody who is mature enough to accept suggestions, advice, and other people's opinion, you can propose and propose that to him at a very convenient when he or she is in a good mood. That's one, because that is even one of the benefits of emotional intelligence, to know the best time to communicate an idea that will be acceptable to other person. The first question, when you are working with a colleague who does not follow rules, that's the first thing. What you can do when you realize you are working with a colleague who do what is opposite or contravene the extant rules, please discuss with that person. If you realize that the person keeps doing it over and over, and you have exhausted every avenue to get the person changed, please report. Do you know why? For the fact that you know and you do not report, you become an accomplice. That is what the rule says. I don't know if you're old. So, but please, the reporting is not the first thing. But for as long as you cannot separate your assignment from that person and you still have to work together, and he is doing it, but you are not part of it, and you are privy to this, that is keep doing it, maybe he takes money from taxpayer, or he alter document, and he's doing those things, maybe he's making money from it, but you are not making money. He's putting your job online for the fact that you are working together, because everybody will believe that for the fact that you're working together, whatever he does, you are part of it. So, except there is a way, distinct way, when you don't have any reason to, in fact, there's no way, because based on this question, is somebody you are working with. Whatever he does will affect you. And so you're already putting your own reputation and your career online because of his misbehavior. So having exhaust every opportunity to get àlàyé nǹkan tó ń ṣe yìí ó máa lẹ́yìn o, stop this thing o, tó bá ti di pé o ti try tí o change, you cannot continue to protect him while you putting your own job online. Tell him, this thing you are doing, I may have to write a report. Let him be aware. And if it does not change, please find a way to report. You may not even report through the file first. You can talk to whoever, maybe you have a supervisor over the two of you. You can walk into the person. Let him know you are going to do it. So that will make you be a free person to him. You are fair enough. Because the fear is that if he continues to do it, it will affect you someday. One time I your band one So there's nothing wrong when you even in the public service, I don't know if it applies to you. We have what we call public service rule. There's something called general inefficiency. When an officer is not doing what he should do as a superior or colleagues, and you have the right over time to report and make formal report. A failure to make formal report also make you to be indicted or be an accomplice in the matter. So that is just my advice about that. But I pray God will give us wisdom. Because on another way, but that contrary to the lay down and the extant rules. There was a question brought just now, and maybe I can attend to it. That's the last question. How can tax authority demonstrate empathy and understanding when dealing with taxpayers who are strong financially? Sherry, empathy does not work in this matter. Hello? Enlightenment is what works here. Empathy works more when you obviously know that this person, that may require some level of empathy. But that doesn't mean you will still compromise. But unlike somebody who has the money, but who believe you need the assistant task or who are connected, level connection party, our party government, enjoy some preferences and the rest. There are people in yato. Here, empathy is not the solution to this matter. But proper enlightenment. I was happy when the chairman said something yesterday about a man who came to the office and said he was not going to pay more than a particular amount, despite the fact that it is obvious he's making money and the money is there. He has to show him his own tax, what he pays. So if at his level, working as employee here, do the box, I pay this. You with all this, you should know that this should not be your threshold for tax assessment. And so enlightenment and proper education. But if the person still feel that is above the law, because there are people like that, that means you have to follow the laid down rules to handle such matter. So empathy is not the solution to that kind of situation, because only professor or the exercise that is different. So that is not empathy that you use as an approach, because cases can determine the right approach to use to undo it. So it is important for us to understand. Enlightenment lo need. Because there may be some people, the big wigs, you may not be able to convince them. You may need to involve maybe your senior, the zoner, or the director, or even if it's some of these political appointees, you can involve the chairman to talk to them at the level they will understand. And that will save you from the problem, because there was a question we asked yesterday, how the EKRS can protect an ethical and professional officer who is trying to do his job the way he should do. And I'm very glad the chairman gave an example yesterday about a woman that they wanted to arrest at some point. Yeah, and he has to stand his ground that you are not taking this woman to anywhere. And that's the way it should be. So when you realize that the matter is going beyond what you can handle, maybe the person is politically collected, or is a big, somebody who is rich, who is influential. Don't try to force or try to use your own power at your level. Try and just link him with who you believe can handle him appropriately. And that will save you from the stress. And the matter will be resolved at the level where he thinks is the best to resolve it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're really grateful. Thank you so much. I didn't want him to just go like that without us tapping more from him. We are very, very grateful, sir. My contribution to some of the things he said, I'll share this with some of the directors also. I said, do you know the difference between us and armed robber? Those that have said, that have given the answer should not talk. Which of us knows the difference between EKRS staff or tax collectors and armed robbers? Auntie Ruth?
We are not carrying gun. But we...
The difference is that we are not carrying gun. They don't want to pay. Wahala, you have labored, you have done everything, you have, and then somebody is coming and say, yeah, come and give it. From where? I have been laboring. I'm yet to even break through. You see some of them, some of the, my PA is here. How many times have we paid taxes for people that we know this one cannot pay? And I was yeah, you. There was a day commissioner for transport came to me and I said, oh God, oh yeah. I collected 10K from him. These fears, I collected 5K. And I collected like that, and we pay for the woman. The woman was just looking at us. Because we made a rule. Don't drive without valid vehicle license. If you drive, we will apprehend your vehicle. We will compel you to pay 3 years tax clearance. All those rules were clearly stated. This woman is an housewife. The husband, a pastor. Pastor was traveling one, madam. Our internal revenue, they have written churches, they have written mosques. They have posted it on social media. I don't have enough funds to renew this vehicle. Don't take it out, or God travel. Madam, how can we have car? I can drive. I will now carry your momentum, bundle the children into the car, drove, internal revenue, they apprehended the vehicle. Where are the documents? No document. And the vehicle was impounded. Day 1, day 2, she rarely ran. She couldn't get the money. And then she was brought to my office. She was weeping. Hey, Joe, I don't know what I will tell my husband. And so I now have to face the ethical dilemma. We made the rule. Will I now break the rule for that woman? When that same rule caught a particular guy, and I don't know whether it's a guy or a lady, who wrote Omambao on the bike, and people seized the bike. She ran to Mary Osho. That one called me. I said, why are you calling me? Is Omambao a correct registration that the person must pay? And Emily escalated to Mr. Governor. And Mr. Governor called me and said, Chairman, the true story. I said, which one? He said, I want supporter. I mean, one to move back and Chairman, and I told him, Chairman, shall know? I said, sir, Your Excellency, this is the minimum. Okay, no problem. Ziko awari or Ziko. They will pay the amount. So that my lay fee for my phone. And that's what Mr. Governor did. And so in the case of this woman, if Mr. Governor has paid, he may also pay because I'm also a pastor, we announced, your husband warned you. But the only way we will do it that the home will not be turned, at least Shade was the director of Mogbalowe. I collected money, raked the money from, I think we collected about 76,000 or so. We paid that money, gave her a paper, she was just wanting to pay. Because some people believe that you are the chairman, I'll call you. You should just waive it. And I tell them, no, I can't just waive it like that. How many people will I waive it for? And that's the only way we can get our job done. Because if I waive it for this person, I waive it for that person. We have job to do. Others will now say, Shebi, when it was the time of this one, chairman waive it. And I tell people, I said, by the time I begin to override, if anybody is here, you have done assessment, and chairman call you and says, don't let that person pay. Raise up your hand. I don't do it. Mr. Governor has never once called me and said, chairman, I want to support our name. What they will do is that chairman, he will pay. Are we together? So the things that we are discussing here, they are very, very practical. And that's one of the reasons why Ekiti is soaring higher. Yes, we may be small in number, small in IGR, but we are well respected anywhere. Can you imagine bigger states that can even, what we make in a whole year, that can make it in 3-4 weeks, calling us and say, Ekiti, how are you doing it? Guide us on this. Some of them, can we send, and some of them, they are even hiring some of you. So, all right. We want to thank you. We want to celebrate you, Mr. Emiloju. I believe we'll still have more to do together. God bless you tremendously. We are very, very grateful. And I also must commend HR for the privilege of also having him here. Now, I have just a few more minutes to finish what I started a while ago. I can't finish it. That's the gospel truth. I can't. But let me just finish one part of it. Definitely, we will need to have another session because I wouldn't want your team to be cheated. You need to switch on the projector. Is this on? Okay. It said it's coming up. Okay. Because Oropo nínú ìwé kọ́bọ̀. The earlier part was more or less a charge to let us know that poverty is, maybe we switch off some of the lights so that you can see very well, that poverty wants to win over us. And we have the responsibility to win poverty. And I will just be speaking for the next 40 minutes thereabout, and wherever we stop, we would stop. I've mentioned factors of production, mentioned land, capital, labor, entrepreneurship, and we mentioned the fact that information is extremely crucial. And of course, in my immediate slides, I mentioned capital and told us how the capital in Africa is defective. When they ask you to bring collateral and you say, I have one building in Obo. I have one building that I inherited from my father in Okemesi. Banks will tell you to keep your building. They won't give you the money. And of course, now land is extremely crucial. Wealth are always inside land. But since God created heaven and the earth, how many plots of land has he created afterwards? None. Okay, when he created the whole world, the whole earth, how many people did he give it to? He gave it to Father Adam and Mother Eve. How many are we now in the world today? Maybe it's 7, maybe it's 8. And if land has not increased, but the number of people that are demanding for land has increased, what will there be when supply is lower than demand? What will happen? The price will rise. And that is why in accounting, one of the assets that will never depreciate is land. It will keep on appreciating. And that is also why it is one of the most contested for. Check any war, check any conflict. It is always as a result of land. Now, whatever you want to do, please make sure you get something that you can call your own. Yesterday, I told a story of how I was living in a place, was living in Magodo, and then I was hoping to get a place of my own, and then from 7 million, land jumped to 40 million. When I raised a few of that amount, it jumped again. And a friend of mine had to come, okay? All right? If you keep on waiting here, Kini Martin was 64 million. Eja Lowa Alabode. And then he took me to a place. I said, I've been here before. I was there when they were selling it 3.5 million. He said, well, I bought my own 7 million. By the time I was buying my own, it was 7.5 million. I didn't even have the cash. I paid 2.5, took a loan from a gracious uncle of 5 million, and then I pay 7.5 million for the place. By the time I was refunding his money 2 years after, price of land in that place had increased to 12.5 million. I was asking my wife some questions around May 2025. She told me that that piece of property, which we bought for 7.5 million in that was around 2017, 2018, was now selling for 65 million. So you think, I don't know Ado very well, but you that think, Emilma, Soshodi. No. Tí o bá ti ṣe GRA, mi ò ní rà kankan. Sorry for you. We are talking about financial wisdom here. Hello? Once upon a time, if you say, come and buy land in Ado, even me, I'll say, God forbid. Some of those lands on Bank Road, there was one that myself and my PA, we went to inspect. When I said, like, no, I can't be in a place without having a land of my own. We were told that somebody was back. There are 10 plots. Say, I can't buy more than 1 or 2 jare. He now bought the land 500,000. That same piece of land that he bought 500,000 about 4 years ago, they are now selling over 5 million. That is land for you. So you that anytime we give you incentive, it is hey, a lot of them perform. Oh yeah, beer palowa. Keep on buying your beer. You will know sooner or later that kaki no be leather. Of course, labor is there. People are always talking about employment statistics, no job, no this, no that, no that. But if you look at the last point there, I ask a very major question. Who determines your worth? Is it labor union? Aluta, we no go agree, we no go agree. Are they the one that determine your value? Or is it the capitalist? Or is it the politician? Who determines your value? Anybody? Tony, who determines your value? You know, earlier on we said if you give a baby candy or biscuit, and you give him $100 bill, we said which one will he pick? He will pick candy because that's the one that is valuable to him. So who determines that is value? He himself. That means that you determine your value. If you go to an employer and you say, employ me, I will take the employment if you can pay me 100,000. That is the value you place on yourself. A young man approached me yesterday that's around 11 p.m. and he said he has this program that is organizing. He wants to do it in one of our big states and blah, 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 that he wanted my support. I said, Oga, you expect me to support. The thing you want to do is not in Ekiti State. And you want me to support you, I won't support you. By the way, you came with your wife 5 years ago. I spent 2 hours counseling you. Have you given me any feedback? He said, uncle, I cannot even remember. I said, okay, so you cannot remember. I gave you 2 hours of my time 5 years ago. You cannot remember that you came for counseling. We sat down in this place. I gave you some assignment. Now you need money again. You have seen a stupid person. I would rather give him 50,000 than give him 1 hour. Because you don't know the worth of my 1 hour. That's why you can't remember. He says he will try and find out. I said, go and meet your wife. Let your wife remind you. Let's face the reality. Some of us, we are wasting our time. We don't know the value of 1 hour. And that's why you talk and you gist. You are boring, again, scroll out. Look, you are the one that determines your own value. That 1 hour, you can read up something that will transform your life. You can engage yourself in some discussions that will uplift you and upgrade you. You can inject some life into your capital, into the capital of your life that will make you to be a well-seasoned person. I remember years ago, I was called for an interview at MTN. And I got there. The interview was supposed to be for 1 o'clock. I was there around 12:30. Was there early. And then when it was 1 o'clock, nobody was calling me. And I asked, HR, when will it be my turn? They said, your turn, okay. Those ones that had a 10 o'clock appointment, they are yet to be calling you that you have 1 o'clock. Okay, go and wait. So I said, oh, okay, thank you. I thought this is an organized place. I carry my CV, I carry everything. To God who made me. I was going to say, okay, this is empty. I said, so what? You don't have value for people's time? So if you have not answered those that were supposed to be here 3 hours before me, when will it be my turn? I said, I'm not out of job. That means I can't work here. I walk away. I walk to God who made me. You don't waste my time. I know you may not know my value. And you know what happened? They called me. They phoned me. They asked, they begged. They said I should choose another date, another time that will be convenient for me so that they will interview me because they were afraid. Other people sat down there waiting for their turn. Globe called me for interview. I was there. And then they were saying, chairman not come. 1 hour, 2 hours, I carried my things. I said, they go home. As I was getting back home, thank God my driver, caller, it was the one, you can ask him. As I was getting home, they come and the chairman is ready to see you now, see me now. I should come back to me. I said, forget it. Look, when you know your value, they won't push anything at you. But if you are not increasing your value, then you become a pusher. One TSC, one TSO, one TSC. I'm not saying you should place more value on yourself than you are. But I'm saying, please, deliberately increase your own value. Ruth will you know, and some other people also know. The Pastor Long Femi will know of a taxpayer that refused to pay. And the tax consultant came to us and said, well, unless you allow me to pay 50% of what I paid last year, I'm not going to pay anything. And they said, chairman, so what do we do? I said, leave him. Let him not pay. What do we do? Let me see the tax consultant. And I saw the tax consultant and I said, sir, with due respect, we have evidences that your principal, God has blessed him more. But if he now decides to lower the blessings of God upon his life, let him keep his money. He didn't pay us in so month. He didn't pay us in so month. He didn't pay us in this so month. Despite him not paying us, we were still achieving our target. So just let him keep cool. But let him know that a day of reckoning is coming. The record is getting piled up. When we will now visit him, and at that time, when we will be embarrassed, it will be something else. That is out of love and respect that I'm keeping my cool. Eventually, they invited us. We went there. And the man said, I didn't know if you even love me so much. Blah, 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 blah. Paid everything. Even gave me personal money. But what I wanted to collect, I collected it. Do you understand what I'm saying now? Why are you laughing now? The people that follow me, they also share now. No, be me alone. All right. And so you are the one that determines your what? How? Your knowledge, your knowledge of your environment, political environment, economic environment, social environment, technology environment, legal environment. That's first two. And so if you are not aware of what is happening, sorry, your skills, what skill do you have? Because if you don't have a skill to solve a problem, you have become a problem to be solved. This is not a generation you say, I'm a shoemaker, that's all I can do. No, you have to know a little more, a little about this, about that. An insurance man came and said, you wanted to convince me that I must have life insurance. I said, for what purpose? He said, you know your children are still young. If anything happens, I said, nothing will happen in Jesus' name, number one. I now said, even if peradventure anything happens, my children, I think the oldest at that time was in secondary school. I said, even if anything happens, what they will use, what they will eat till they die, I've given it to them. He said, what? Is it houses? Is it car? I said, no, it's not houses, it's not car. I have taught them some skills. Hello? I'm not boasting, no, but sometimes you need to share some things to charge us. The first one has passed his ACCA, but he's making more money from music. That's a skill. He's been making money even when he went for holiday in Ibadan with a pastor friend. Their keyboardists didn't come to church. And he said, can I? He said, if you can play. That's how the boy at age 6 or age 7 play and came home with honorarium. By the time the organist or the pianist came and said, he saw the boy, he said, oh, he played you, Milo. The pastor said, don't keep play lady. Are we together? Don't just be buying computer games for your children. What will he earn? Not that I want a card. Okay, if they must play game, let them play games that will enhance their mental capacity. Game that they can make money out of. Hobby that can bring food to their tables. Are we together? The other one is a writer. Now, so he wrote, and they come in channels one day. They said I should come for something. I said, he's a science student. What is doing this one? They said no, that he had he wrote one essay, and it was one of the best 10 all over the country. They wanted to do final interview, final check for them. And at the end of the day, he came on top. I said, you are a science student. What are you doing? Whatever. And they took him to Dubai for 2 weeks. All expenses paid. Let us identify what is the traits of each of our children and then train them. For our remedial ways, opportunity to treat anyhow. But for these children, don't let them make the same mistake you made. What in Bobby reason at age 15? Or them both where win many. I was giving a typical example yesterday of somebody by final entitlement here. Bank on local. Continue, you're not let go. Hello. I don't have so much time. Your attitude, if you see misfortune all the time, you don't know that you can remove that M and then it will become is fortune. In every adversity, there is always an opportunity. Are we together? When people are crying, hey, being power, some see opportunity there. There is wisdom that makes you to listen to the cry of the people. What people around you are crying. Hey, see, blah, 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 blah. See, and that's what makes some people to create inverter. You won't believe it, in my house, at least 2 times in a day, we cook with sun. Yes, in my Lagos home, we cook with sun. I bought inverter. Capacity for you, if it's on 40% by evening and by morning, by 11 or 12 p.m., it's fully charged. So more electric something egbele lori. Tó bá ti ṣe oúnjẹ ọ̀sán, ẹ ṣe ta lẹ́tẹ̀ 4 o'clock. Kó jìnnà ó yá ẹ pa. Àásùn, àlò fan. My electricity bill dropped. You need to understand, you need to know how to maximize things. So, what you know determines your worth. I told a story yesterday of a mechanic. Politician was going maybe for the kind of stakeholders meeting that we have today. Mr. Gono, I can't afford to be late. I can't afford to be late. And then he got to, let's say, Inyi, the vehicle brother. I can pay anything to get this vehicle moved. I can pay anything. Yeah. Saw a roadside mechanic and said, if you can get this vehicle, I will pay you anything. And then the mechanic said, yeah, try to start the car. I said, wait. Open the bonnet, fix something, start it. The engine roar back to life. So, okay, thank you. So how much do I pay you? The guy said, 101,000. In Kato, about 3 minutes. And the guy said, yes. Pay mo shi bonnet mo for work. Owo pay mo for work was 1,000 naira. Owo pay mo man kanti ma for work ni 100,000 naira. So your knowledge determines your worth. Some of you don't read books. As you see me, so I see they read. They read. Some of you now so social media, TikTok, Pastor Tobo Menjosu. How is that one improving your life? If you go into my library and you see several, I didn't grow up as a salesperson. I have books on sales, persuasion skill, negotiations. So there is no topic you give me that I will not be able to handle. Just give me 1 or 2 days. I have materials on almost every business topic you want to mention, and I will deliver. I still met one guy on Sunday. We lost contact, and then he came to me, visited me on Sunday. He just coming from the blues. He couldn't even get my number. He link up with me through LinkedIn. That's around 20, before COVID, around 2020, 2019, around that time. And he said, sir, can you handle discussion on enterprise risk management? My default answer is yes. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It was when I went on internet, I realized that, in country, so yes, see, me o ma pa. And he now began to advertise our products. And then he got people that said they would, fellow of ICAR of many years. He has been internal auditor here. I didn't know that. What I knew was finishing. But thank God I entered my library. You know, all these cheap books, because when I enter any bookshop anywhere in the world, you know the first place I go to? If it's a say, I want to reduce price. That's the first place I go. It will be cheap. Clear. That book, before God and man, I got it 500 naira. You ain't look on take go mo kawe be were. Mo she presentation mo she egbe. He agreed, I think he agreed, we agreed 100K for the lecture. When I finished, he was so much wowed. The people that I called were so wowed, he gave me 200K. He said, yes, sir, I'm going to repeat it. I did it for him for second time before COVID kicked him. And he was telling the person that introduced me, he's an expert in that. I'm an expert. If you don't learn more, you have started dying. Of course, we talked about capital, we have talked about labor, we have talked about which one now. But of all this, if you don't have man to bring it together, that is entrepreneurship. It is nothing. And so money is there, machine is there, material is there, methods could even be there. But without man, everything is useless. But that man now is also a function of the information he has. I did my ND at Federal Poly, Ado Air. And unfortunately, my lecturers in I can was hard. Want to fail. Or you want to demo one class. Our lecturer, I can with I can. It was difficult for them to pass. So myself and 2 or 3 of my other friends will resolve in our mind. We say, Nishi exam to Sunday to Saturday. We made up our mind that we were not going to write the exam because our lecturers they were writing in 2, 3, 4 times, they were failing. And then I found myself in Lagos in an auditing firm, SSF & Co. And there was a big hall that is like half of this place. That's the Gbogbo Ero. Trainee Gbogbo Yinte qualified Dawasi. And then I now observed that people that qualify, the day they pass, I kind of like, bam, you just remove them from our midst. One love, you want to see office to AC. One to my phone, tea, one tiny cup of tea, but I want to and I now began, as we went out to work, I realized that it's not as if this one were really better than us. Bank reconciliation that some of the graduates will not be able to do. I will be the one to help them to balance it. Then I began to think, can you see the way environment changes things? And then I began to think, okay, maybe I should consider it. Maybe I should consider it. And the way God will arrange it for me, when I was to go for my HND, I landed in Yaba College of Technology. And if you know Yaba Tech very well, not too far from Students Pie then. And before you know it, we were in HND 1. One young lady like that, one lot to qualify, go to the chartered academy. Lady, you beat me in class now. Chartered accountant. EKG qualify, Iketa qualify. Already had 3 members of my class, HND 1. They were already chartered accountants. My lecturers in Federal Poly. Then I told myself, I said, no. Then I must write this exam. And to God be the glory, I started 95. I started 94. By 95, I was already a chartered accountant. So part of reason why I'm telling you this story is for you never to accept, I cannot. Your environment may be a limiting factor. It may be as if, in my environment, family, me, anchor you first degree. You better leave that cocoon and move on with your life. An average executive person thinks this way. And then I get a good pensionable job. I'm a pension. If I'm at you 2,000 lóṣù, kí n ṣáà rí nǹkan kan máa jẹun, kí n dẹ̀ train àwọn ọmọ, kí n ṣáà jẹun ọmọ ní kókó báyìí. Me, I don't pray láti jẹun ọmọ o. Kọ́mọ wa on his own kó máa enjoy tiẹ̀. Kémi náà nǹkan tẹ́mi náà ní kí n lè enjoy ara mi. Kó má jẹ́ pé young man, ó mọ̀ pé bí pé èmi àti màmá ẹni, God forbid. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá lè sọ ẹ̀yin lẹ́nu. You should train your children to be independent. It's a charge. It's just because. Let's move on. Types of finance. The one we are discussing is personal finance. Personal finance. The way you manage your personal finance will affect you. Personal finance could come in form of salary. It could even come in form of bribe, pension, whatever you want to talk about. Money is a means of exchange. And of course, it's also an expression of value. But money can fail. So money is not everything. And everything and everyone also has a price tag. Now, in particular, when your price tag is low, that's why a man will lure you to bed with 1 million naira. Oh, ni value for ara. Oh, ni value for future. So with 1 million, any man can sleep with you, even though you are a married woman. God forbid, what is 1 million naira compared to the destiny that you are carrying? When you know that you are carrying great destiny, money is not the only thing that is influencing you. I went to Akure to preach some years ago. They gave me honorarium and I said I wouldn't take it because God instructed me, don't take. The pastor was, you pay for your hotel bill, you fuel the car, and you are saying, I said, I am not led to collect. Rather, I'm led to give you. I was on my way back to Lagos. I was approaching Ife when my phone rang. One of my junior colleagues that I work, in fact, he gave me a title when we were working next week. He gave me the title of inspirational accountant. Because I won't do things the way, the conventional way. I will think about how can we do it faster? How can we do it better? How can we make it? And so he called me inspirational accountant. He said, no, we have a problem with our fixed asset where I'm working, and an FCA has been battling with it. He couldn't do it. Please, when you are in Lagos, let us see how you can help us. And to God be the glory. We went there, I called my partner, yeah, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? We got the contract, it was about 3 million then. And then when we remove all the expenses, we gain about 1.5 million. That's one. So don't come and ask me for $1,000. And I wasn't residing in Ekiti. What I'm saying is this. Honorarium don't for me to 50,000. Just to tell you that money is not everything. He talked about relationship. What if I didn't have good relationship with that person? Or manche me ni o then o. Or galon pe me, I was a poor manager. But he remembered that this man was solving this problem where we work together. So look at those people that are left. When I talked about that driver, I meant it to. Those that are close to me know that I'm working on it already. If his family will release him, next month he will begin to work somewhere in Lagos. That's me. Don't need to clap for me. It is me. It's my nature. It's not. And if you don't do well, I will shout on you. I will yab you. At that moment, it is not personal. If you think it's easy working with me, ask IBK, ask Chade. I fight them, but they have come to accept. Yeah, ask my secretary. They have come to accept that even when, HR, hey, one of them, when I dealt with her, she went to my face. I call her number, the husband pick, he said, Daddy, who are the hospital? I said, okay, Toba G, cook with me. They have come to realize that when I shout, when I do that one, it's not for my personal something. No, it's because time law, I want you to do something quick with your life. I want your life to improve. That's what it's all about. If you understand me, fine. If you don't understand, you will know sooner or later that, oh, it is out of compassion that is making this man to move. Okay. It is the denominator of every transaction asset. I want to move faster. There are some other things. Interest, yes. I want to talk on this one. The theory of compound interest is like a miracle. Albert Einstein talk about it as if it's a mystery and it's a miracle. And it's something that is close to our hands, but most of us never make use of it. How does it work? I hope we'll be able to get to how it works. Okay. It has to do with when you collect your salary. What are the first thing you do? Matthew Agboori. When you collect your salary,
tithe. Well, then I'll settle my wife and children. Then whatever anything remains, then apply it back for the next month.
Thank you. Let's clap for him. He said he will pay his tithe. He will take care of his family, because the Bible even says that if anybody does not care for his own family members, he has denied the faith and he was an infidel. And then that means he's not paying himself first. And that is the problem of Nigeria. That is the problem of Ekiti. That is the problem of you and I. The law of finances, you must pay yourself first. You must think about investment first. You must set something aside first. I know what to build your response. I will analysis now. I will ask you one basic question. If I'm to give you 1 million naira today, 1 million, Tony, bah. Or I say, Tony, me only 1 million now, but I will be giving you 1 naira per day, multiplied by whatever. You will be compounding it for the next 1 month. It will 1 million. It will. But do you know that if you have 1 naira today, tomorrow it becomes 2 naira. Next tomorrow it becomes 4 naira. Next tomorrow it becomes 8 naira. Next tomorrow it becomes 16 naira. Do you know you'll be richer than 1 million? Hello? How? You want? I don't have the time to work it, but just use your calculator to work it. That 1 plus 1 now, it becomes 2, and then you now duplicate it like that. Duplicate it. By the time you are getting to 30 a day, you'll be worth over 2 million naira. We don't know the theory of compound interest. That's our problem. Hello? Now, how much is a can of malt? Some say 650, some say 700. Okay, tell you about money. Total get sugar see, it will catch at 1,000. After office hour, Korea fien camera abi 1,000 per day near abi. Multiply by 30,000. Multiply by 12. Oh yeah, look at the board. That's 360,000 savings. That is if you keep 1,000 per day for a year, you have 360,000. Is that okay? Now, if you are earning interest at 15% per annum, that means at the end of year 1, 15% of 360,000 is 54,000. That 360,000 would have become what? 414,000. Is that okay? So that amount is what you bring into year 2, which is 440 under where you have principal brought forward. If you save 1,000 per day in year 2, making 360,000, and you add it to the 414,000, and you now calculate 15% on it, 15% on it will be 116,000. Hello, somebody. And so your year end will now be 890,000. Is that clear? So at the beginning of year 3, you have 890,000 naira. If you save 360 again, that means you will be having over 1.1 million. And then if you now calculate 15% of interest, it will be 187,000. Added together, what you have is now 1.4 million. That 1.4 million at the beginning of year 4, calculate 15% of it, add it to 360,000 saving, your interest will be 269,000, and then your money would have grown to 2 million. By the time you get to year 4, at the beginning of year 4, you have that 2 million, and then you add the 360,000 to it, the interest you will get will be what? What interest will you get? Answer now. That 364,000 is already more than what you are saving every year, and that is interest. Báwo èèyàn ṣe ń lówó nìyẹn. Bó ṣe bí mo mu malt ni, mo jẹ ṣúyà, mo mu kinní kan, 1,000. Èló ni 1,000? Èló ni 1,000? Èló ni 1,000? That 1,000, if you keep it like that for 10 years, see what will happen. If you keep it for about 20 years, are you aware that that 1,000, if you keep it for like 20 years and you are consistent saving 1,000 every year and you are getting it compounded at 15%, are you aware that by the end of year 20, you'll be worth more than 30 million naira? Hello, somebody. Clap for me now. What often happens to us is that we don't value money so much. Hello, ni. One ra gold. Era gold. If you are buying the gold and when it appreciates, you sell it and make your margin on it. I don't have problem with that. But you are just spending, you are consuming. You are not investing. That is a pain that we have to fight against. Are you aware? Let me tell you about a law. We call it Law 72. Say Law 72. Law 72 says that if you divide the rate of interest that you can collect, if you divide 72 by the rate of interest you will collect in a year, it will show you how many years it will take you to double your investment. If, for example, you want to invest 1 million at the rate of 18%, just divide 72 by 18. I know some of you will press your calculator. 72 divided by 18, that will give you 4. That means that 1 million, if you invest it at 18% per annum, which you can get on Treasury Bill now, that means within 4 years, your 1 million would have become 2 million. But because what many of us do is, as we collect, we whack. As we, hey, want to sell incentive, want to sell incentive, you quickly go to the market, aṣọ ìgbàlódé, oúnjẹ ìgbàlódé, oh yeah, everybody, oh yeah, serve them round. Show you are there. So for you to grow in financial wisdom, you need to know and then ask God to also guide you. And you have to keep on updating yourself in the area of financial intelligence. Use Joseph principle. If it is difficult for you to pay tithe when you earn 50,000 naira, when you earn 5 million, it will still be more difficult. When you think you cannot invest, because I don't think there is anybody in this room that earns, maybe, I'm not sure, there shouldn't be anybody, except those that are not at the rest staff, that will earn less than 100,000 in a month. Meanwhile, if you get to some people that are still living in this Ekiti, you realize that they are monthly something, only imagine 60,000 law. And it is this lack of understanding that will make the car owner to be borrowing money for fuel or driver. Watch it in Lagos. A mechanic, carpenter, and Many of them, one want in Nile, Esa, Ajangbadi Mokolesi, Esa, one ma akwe mi de kinto de lola, Ikorodu ni mo mota Mokolesi, Ọ̀gá gan tán ṣe Esa fún, kò tiẹ̀ tí nílẹ̀. Wọn ò ní ra wá níyè o. Let me end it up there. So, you must have gained one or two things. I've only shared how many? I've only shared 27 out of 62 slides. So, mo sọ pé ọ̀rọ̀ pọ̀ sínú ìwé kọ́bọ̀. Possibly we will look for another time that I will take your own class, or as it will be, to go take us through the remaining one before we now begin to ask people to pay for this kind of thing. You having it free? Thank you. I'll just take one. Let me take two questions, short questions, and then we close it up. Thank you for your attention. Yes, Dr. Luboyo. Any other person? If you don't indicate now, okay. And Tosin or Belewaji.
Thank you so much, sir. We thank you for your time and thank you for sharing this with us. Last year, when we had this type of section, we invited somebody to come and speak to us. I was not opportune to be on seat. I was at the hospital. So, sir, you've been teaching us this over and over and over again. It's not to save now. When mommy came the other time, she presented a scenario. There was a particular organization, there was a recession. Maybe in that organization, they were paying them huge. The organization was doing well. And there was a recession. They now said they are going to sack some staff. So the whole staff, they were now being, but management later met and said, okay, let's call them. If we can reduce their salary, maybe 50% of what they were earning, if they can agree. So they met with the team and they said, and with the staff, and they said, salary 50%. She now said that how many of them, when they were earning the 100%, were able to save 50% because of the future? And since that day, my orientation changed.
Thank you.
So now my question is, what are those things we can invest in apart from land that can yield? Ọ̀gá kì í ṣe ìyẹn. Àwọn nǹkan kan wà tó máa dowó tí èèyàn ní problem lé lórí. And those are the things that I'm asking. What are those things that we can invest in? The presenter then was presenting a scenario, but I was not opportune to sit down to listen to him.
No problem. Thank you. What can we invest in? Is it the same question?
Yes, sir. Concerning the saving daily of 1,000 naira, which is quite interesting. And while listening to it, I was like, I will start doing it. But I remember I'm a salary earner, no other source of income. So like, as a salary earner, how can we do this? You know, if I'm being paid my salary, 1,000 per a month is 30,000. It will be difficult for me to just remove that 30,000 naira from that salary. So I want to understand.
All right, thank you. Like we said, hello, there is no time that you have money that is easy to save. That's why I said it's a battle. And life is full of choices. Some have the gift that Peter Wagner, he wrote a book. He wrote a book about how your spiritual gift can help your church grow. And he listed as part of spiritual gift. He said there's a gift of voluntary poverty. So if you have gift of voluntary poverty, it will be difficult for you to do. Because some people just choose to remain poor. Although I don't want to be rich so that man are proud. But me, I know what I can do if I have extra 1 million. People that I need, lives that can change, armed robbers whose life can turn around, outlaws that can change to be saints with just 1 million naira. So if you don't know, you don't know. My brother, there will never be a time. If you cannot remove 30,000, I don't know your salary often, but if you cannot remove at least 20%, I've said it before, HR is my witness. Listen to me carefully now. And I'm being very, very blunt. The salary that you are paid, that's all that your employers owe you. Your checkbook, that's all. What you do with it is your cup of tea. And the blank truth is the bland truth, the way you want to take it is that to battle is your or save 20%. Operation Joseph, any work you are doing that you are not able to save 20%, oh, even if it is EKRS job you are doing and you cannot save 20%, what's your RIO? Hello? Because if you cannot do that one, you will not be able to provide for rainy days. Joseph already knew 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine. Pharaoh asked him, what do we do? He said, we should be saving 150. 150 is 20% in the year of plenty. And so they did that one for 7 years. In the 7 years of famine, did any people, any person under Joseph, did they suffer hunger? Other countries were coming to buy food. They were bringing money. The Bible says until money failed in Egypt. Let's discipline ourselves. The issue of 1,000 naira per month, per day, I just wanted us to know how small amount of money matters. To you, how much is 500 naira? But ask Dangote, how much is 5 naira? Not 500 naira, 5 naira. What is disrupting the fuel prices now? To give 5 naira, no what any. I can to give 10 naira, no when. It is when you multiply that 5 naira by millions, you will know the value of every kobo, every penny. Are we together? On the question that Mrs. Oluboyo asked, what can we invest into? Several. I won't advise somebody that is 20, 25 years old to invest in what I will invest on. That will be stupid. It won't make enough money. Because he still has long years ahead of him. So he can take some risk that I cannot dare to take when I'm looking at 60 local. When I was much younger, something that's high as this, we'll be doing competition. Yeah, Paloma is a footballer. But when you can 10 million for I will ask you to keep your money. And so it's a function of your age and then your risk appetite. Because risk and returns, they are always big, but when the risk is high, the return will be high. When the risk is low, the return will be low. And that's why if your pension fund administrator, once you cross the age of 50, they will say, we are removing your money from the risky investment. The interest you collect will no longer be so much. But so that it doesn't appear as if I am not answering your question, you can invest in treasury bill. You can invest in money market instruments. That's much of what I do. So when I invest like that, I keep it there, it keeps on piling, it keeps on piling. When I now see an opportunity, it could be to buy a landed property, it could be to buy something that I know this one will be there for me. I'll now collapse all those ones. And the one I do is such that if I need my money within 24, 48 hours, they give it to me. But once that money is there, I won't withdraw it because my friend ship pepper soup. I won't withdraw it because my friend old student association. The only reason why I will withdraw anything from it is to invest it into another asset. Are we together? And I was sharing with the people yesterday. I said, look, a land that I bought 130,000. I was there the Saturday last week. 130,000. 110 million lo mi mo ni mi ò fẹ́. Because èmi communicate Dangote lọ kọ́lé epo súnmọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. When I bought it, it was a jungle. Nobody wanted to go there. But the place has become a city. Are we together? And somebody was saying, kí lẹ máa fi ṣe? Mo ní ẹ ṣáà máa wò ó tèmi, ẹ jẹ́ máa wò ó tèmi. Tó bá yá mo lè pe developer kan pé, wá arákùnrin, ó ṣe kọ́ duplex méjì síbí. Ṣé kan kò mí kó ṣe kan kóra rẹ̀? Àbí? So I will not lift, I will not drop any block. I will not buy any tie. Wọ́n á dẹ̀ bá mi kọ́lé. Wọ́n ti mú kan. Ilé ìtókò ẹ jẹ́ máa gba rent ń bẹ̀. That's how to live life. But I can just say 30 days making, 30 days. And some of you look at you might go with microphone, you go for an incentive. Come about for an incentive, don't you say incentive for our but incentive for our, but it will not be proper for you to get extra money without knowing some of these things. I don't want to see all those funny paper. I want to collect loan. I want to collect, because the loan you are even asking for, the amount you are asking for cannot make you rich. I want to collect loan and to pay my children's school fees. Look, don't live above your means. Hello? O fẹ́ máa wọ fìlà teacher máa ń wọ̀. O fẹ́ máa wọ bàtà tí teacher máa ń wọ̀. O fẹ́ máa gun mọ́tò tí a máa ń gùn. Bó ẹ jẹ́ aṣọ́ra wa. Tẹ́ bá rí ibi burial father-in-law chairman. Wọ́n ṣe burial father-in-law chairman. Òun náà mo fẹ́ ṣe ti dáde mi. Owó olówó léegun náà. Ṣé bó ṣe mọ́? God bless you all. Thank you. Oh, okay.
First of all, let me thank the chairman for this lecture. Yesterday, he told me that he would want me to stay and listen to his lecture, but I was rushing somewhere. But today, I promised that we stay. And I must thank you for this wonderful lecture. That's the first thing. I want to appreciate you. For somebody like me, when you are the one talking, having the opportunity to listen is a privilege. Aristotle said, when you talk, you say what you know. But when you listen, you are disappointed, you hear what you don't know to be added to what you know. And I thank you for this lecture. That's the first thing. And I want to say this to you people. You have a very rare privilege to have such a leader. Do you know why I said so? Thank you. I lead a couple of young people. And these are the things we teach them. And I want to talk to you because some of you will still think that he's talking like this because of the level he is. That's not true. Let me categorize myself as somebody like you. Some of you may be at my level. I work in the civil service. Until you understand some of these principles, life will not make money. We just live every day as it comes. I was showing, as he was talking, I was asking, these are all the things I'm teaching you in the mentoring school. Let me tell you something. He was asking what to invest in. One of the things you must be ready to invest in is in yourself. Build capacity. I'm a civil servant, but I must tell you, my salary, I spend more than it in my department every month. That is what I earn from the state government. What I give to people. Presently, I'm sponsoring 2 staff in Subeb, in higher institution. So, and how did I get there? I build capacity. I invest in knowledge. I invest in skill. And I invest in relationship. And you see the KSA, when he was teaching, I was enjoying it. Some of you may not, but me, because I value knowledge. I value addition. I invest in number 1, knowledge. I have as many certificates you can think of. If I bring my certificate folder, you will open your mouth. Sometimes I don't like people reading my profile because if they read to look as intimidation, if you are not prepared. I invest in education. I invest in knowledge. I invest in skill. As I'm standing here, I have about 6 different skills that give me money. Before I come, as I was coming here, but somebody called me. This year, today is 10. If I tell you what I've sealed these 10 days of the year, you won't be able to accommodate it. I'm telling you. And capacity is behind it. So please, I'm begging you, I'll pay. I told you, I said the other time, I'm looking forward to pay more this year. And some of you will see. Because I believe, yes, I run charity organization. When it comes to contributing to societal development, that's where you find me. I run different programs, I add value. So paying taxes is just in fact, it's the least of my problem. So what I'm saying is that please, that investment, invest in skill, invest in knowledge. Because the compound interest you get is unprecedented. That's number 1 area to invest in. Number 2, invest in relationship. Sherry, relationship, all of how there are some things that your qualification, your expertise will not give you, but relationship will provide it. The reason I'm here is relationship. Relationship will open doors that your even knowledge and expertise cannot open. And number 3, you talk about money market. I show in the app, Sherry, as small as 1,000 is, because you collect salary once in a month. It may be difficult for you to do monthly contribution. It's not difficult. It means, are you telling me there's no time that you don't have up to 1,000 naira left in your account? That is, you don't, at a day, you don't have 1,000 naira left in your account. What I do on Cowrywise, I'm not selling Cowrywise. You can choose any other app of your own. Every day I do monthly contribution, like between 4 and 6 a.m. every morning. I was telling him today is 10. I've made profit of 177,000 from money market this January upon the interest on my money there. And this is the money I'm contributing every day. One of them, I lock it for the next 3 years. It's compound interest. Everything he was telling us, I'm just testifying to them that they are practicable. Please have additional skill to what you have. This job alone may not survive you. I had something you are doing extra that bring extra income. They call it side hustles. As I'm standing, I'm a ticketer. I buy tickets almost every day for people. Doesn't affect what I'm doing on my desk. Thank God there's one of your staff is there, that's auntie. Is there any day you don't see me at work? I come to work 8 a.m., I close 4. You can't find me wanting on my desk. But yet, I make money. I travel anytime I'm not going to be in the office, I will take permission. And that's why good relationship is key. I travel. Last year, I spoke in more than 150 programs. You know how much I made from speaking engagement? You know how much I make from event planning and management? How much I make from book? I sell book as an author. I do about 6 things, and all these things brings money, directly or indirectly. So please, invest in additional skill that can bring extra money into your pocket. Invest in land. I was telling some of my mentees, I want because I didn't tell you what, you buy 150, 100,000. Go and buy there. Keep it for the next 5 years. So I want to thank you, sir. It's just an addition as a testament to everything you have said. They are true, but you have to be intentional because no excuse is tenable for failure. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have promised I will still look for another opportunity to download more. But with the little that we have had, if only 10% of you make use of this, I will be fulfilled. Thank you and God bless you.
If you know you have been so blessed today, jam your hands for the chairman. Thank you. Thank you. So for the closing remark, our director, Finance and Corporate Services, we have.
Amen. The Bible says, what thou founded your hand to do, do it with all thy might. If you are clapping, I think our chairman deserves a better clapping ovation. We can also stand on our feet. Let us give him a standing ovation. I want every one of us to say thank you, sir, to our